Good evening, everyone. It is March 7th, and we are here for a regular meeting of the City Council. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you'd all like to join us. Thank you, everyone. City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Gabriel.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
O'Doherty.
Here.
Pierce.
Here.
Richardson.
Here.
Shumway.
Here.
Somerville.
Here.
Cumby.
Here.
Harrington.
Here.
That's 9 present and 0 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. We will move on to public comment on non-agenda items. Any members of the public wishing to speak to the City Council on any issue may come forward, and you'll have 3 minutes, or if you're on Zoom, go ahead and just raise your hands, and we will let you into the Zoom room. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. All right. Vice Mayor, I will recognize you for item 5.
Thank you. I move that the agenda be set as submitted. Second.
Okay, Council, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, that item carries. And then are we back to the Vice Mayor again?
I think we are.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
I move that the consent agenda be approved.
Second.
Mayor.
One moment, please. We need to actually, did we already set the agenda, City Clerk? I've lost our train here a little bit.
Yeah, Mayor, with not having any changes to the agenda tonight,
Good.
we're all set.
Thank you.
We're set.
That's where I got lost. Thank you, City Clerk and Vice Mayor. We will move on to item 6 then, the consent agenda being, or the agenda being set. And we will go ahead and get started with a proclamation. And I will get that read for us all. But before I do that, I'm going to recognize Councilor O'Doherty with a quick note that is pertinent to this proclamation.
Yeah, I just wanted us to recognize that Judy Heumann, who was an American civil rights, disability rights advocate, she was featured in the movie Crip Camp. She passed away on Saturday and had a whole life of advocating for people with disabilities and things that we take for granted now, like access to places because of the ADA. She's responsible for a lot of that. So I just thought we should acknowledge her on this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor O'Doherty. I thought that was well timed and worth taking some time this evening to do. All right, Council. The proclamation reads, whereas disability in no way diminishes the right of individuals to live independently, enjoy self-determination, make choices, contribute to society, and experience the economic, political, social, cultural, and educational mainstream of American society. Whereas family members, friends, and members of the community can play a vital role in enhancing the lives of people with disabilities, especially when the family and community are provided with necessary support services, and public and private employers are aware of the capabilities of people with disabilities to be engaged in competitive work in inclusive settings. Whereas the goals of this city include providing individuals with disabilities the opportunities and support to make informed choices and decisions, live in homes and communities where they can exercise their full rights and responsibilities as citizens, pursue meaningful and productive lives, contribute to their family, community, state, and nation, have interdependent friendships and relationships with others, and achieve full inclusion in society. Whereas thousands in Wyoming face challenges with disabilities daily. Whereas the month of March has been designated as Disability Awareness Month to celebrate and recognize disabled individuals and promote awareness. Now, therefore, I, Brian Harrington, Mayor and President of the governing body of the City of Laramie, do hereby proclaim March 2023 as Laramie Disabilities Awareness Month and encourage all citizens, businesses, public and private agencies, religious and educational institutions to join in observing the month in honor of persons with disabilities. And I believe Joe Carroll, come on forward. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here.
I want to thank all the council members for this proclamation, and especially Aaron Doherty, Sharon Cumby, and Brandon, who have all served in one respect or another on the council. There's a wonderful group of people, and there's another person who really needs to be recognized, and that's Todd Fieser, who has been a special friend of ours, and he's our conduit to the curmudgeons who have built any number of wonderful things for us for various events. So on behalf of the Laramie Advisory Council on Disabilities, thank you very much for the proclamation.
Well, thank you for being here with us, and if you wouldn't mind, we would love to take a photograph with you if you'd humor us. Did you feel okay? Do you feel okay coming on up, or do you want us to come down to you? We don't mind. That swing's open for you.
Does it work?
It sure does.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, can I give some back?
Councilor O'Doherty.
The Laramie Advisory Commission on Disabilities was at the Luau and Laradise at the rec center on Friday, and had a sign that said, what does disability mean to you? And asked kids, had a bunch of markers, and asked kids and adults if they want to write something. So that's what that sign represents, if people can take a look at it. It's very sweet. We have a good community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. If I can find myself again, we are going to go to our proclamation, or our public hearings, rather, and I will recognize the city clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing of the Laramie City Council will be held at 6:30 p.m. on March 7th, 2023, in the City Council Chambers, Laramie City Hall, 406 Ivinson Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. The meeting shall be held on both online, Zoom, in-person option, and in-person option to take public comment on the following: Original Ordinance 2055, VAC 22-03, a vacation request that will vacate a public pedestrian easement of approximately 4.31 acres within Timberline Business District, lots 1 through 7, by William Spires for a property located in a C2 zoning district. All information relative to this matter is available for review at the City of Laramie Planning Office at 405 Grand Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. Anyone wishing to be heard should be present or may be represented by his or her agent at the meeting.
Thank you, City Clerk. Is there any member of the public wishing to speak on this public hearing? If you're on Zoom, go ahead and raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, we will close that public hearing. And City Clerk, we will move on to the second public hearing.
All information relative to this matter is available for review at the City of Laramie Planning Office at 405 Grand Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. Anyone wishing to be heard should be present or may be represented by his or her agent at the meeting.
Thank you, City Clerk. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this public hearing? Okay, seeing none, we will close that public hearing as well. And we will then move on to 6C, monthly staff recognitions. Is there a staff member that will introduce this for us? I understand that Mr. Suazo's online. Yes, City Manager, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We are really happy to have Mr. Suazo here with us this evening, and it's my pleasure to talk a little bit about Felipe's role in the city. He has been a solid waste worker for some years, but recently promoted to our solid waste collections supervisor, so we're thrilled to have him in a new role with us here at the city. He was nominated by his predecessor, who's since retired from the supervisor position, and that supervisor saying that Felipe is always looking for ways to improve programs and efficiencies and to implement things that he's gained new knowledge about. And that's the sort of spirit that we like to celebrate here at the City of Laramie. Felipe's been with us since 2006, and he says he enjoys working with his crews, that they're a lot like his kids, and they rib him because he takes a bit of a perfectionist approach, always having the cleanest truck in the crew, and so they like to give him a bad time for keeping his truck clean. Felipe grew up here in Laramie. He's been married since 2006, and his two children are now kind of out of the home, so he and his wife are looking forward to some traveling in the future. And they do say locally the Gowdy Park is one of their favorite spots in the summer. So just want to celebrate Felipe Suazo and appreciate him being with us this evening, and thank him for his fine work and for being our Employee of the Month from February.
Thank you, City Manager. Felipe, thank you for joining us this evening. If there's anything you'd like to say to the council, the floor is all yours.
I don't have much to say. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
We sure can.
Okay. I don't have much to say, just thanks.
You know, man, a few words. I really like it. Thanks for taking time to join us. It's always a nice opportunity for the council to get a little more understanding of what you all do every day for the residents of Laramie. So thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Council members, any disclosures on items that are in front of us this evening? Seeing none, we will move to item 8. Vice Mayor.
Oh, thank you. I move that the consent agenda be approved.
Second.
Okay, motion by the Vice Mayor, second by Councilor Richardson. City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. The consent agenda has been approved. We will move to item 11. Councilor O'Doherty.
I move to approve Resolution 2023-22, adopting policy goals. Oops, I guess I need to turn that on. Let me try it again. I move to approve Resolution 2023-22, adopting policy goals and objectives for the City of Laramie for 2023, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by O'Doherty, second by Pierce. Councilor O'Doherty.
I move to amend Resolution 2023-22 by substitution of Resolution 2023-22A, which can be found in the agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion by O'Doherty, second by Somerville. Council members, any discussion on the amendment? By way of an explanation to the public, the item we have amended at this point, if adopted, is the result of our work session last Wednesday. That can be found in the Agenda Center on the city's website. We will go to the public now on this amendment. Any members of the public wishing to speak on the amendment, come forward or raise your hand on Zoom, please. City Clerk, you can let Mr. Glass into the room, please. And Mr. Glass, when you are in the room, you have 3 minutes, and the floor is yours. Good evening, Mr. Glass. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. It's a pleasure to be here this evening, and it's a pleasure to be on video again. As I said before, thank you very much for allowing the public to be on video now. I have sent you an email commenting on the latest version of the goals, and I only want to comment on one of them tonight in particular because as I've been talking to my fellow citizens, they're the most concerned about this one. Goal number 4, economic development, milestone F, is the one of the biggest concern to them. It says evaluate community needs and potential uses for the 7th penny of sales tax. And no matter where you sit on the political spectrum, this is of great concern. If you are on the left end of the political spectrum, you should be concerned because the 7th penny would be a sales tax, and so it would be regressive. It would hurt the poorer members of our community the most. If you are on the right end of the political spectrum, you'd be concerned because of what this bodes about government. It means the government is growing so big that it needs another penny of sales tax that other municipalities don't lead. And if you're more of a moderate, in the middle of the political spectrum as I am, you'd be concerned about what this might do to the community. It might impact economic growth. It might impact businesses because people might choose to shop elsewhere for big ticket items. So I would welcome the deletion of this item. I really think that we should set an example for municipalities throughout Wyoming and find ways to streamline our government so that we don't need a 7th penny of sales tax. Let's let other communities do that and drive the business to us rather than the other way around. Anyway, that's really all I have to say. I've made other comments on the other items in the email I sent to you, but this is the one that again is raising the most eyebrows in the community. Thank you very much for your time and have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Glass, for taking time out of your evening to join the City Council. Any other members of the public wish to speak to the amendment? Seeing none, we'll go back to the council for any comments before the vote. Councilor Doherty.
I just wanted to report that I did some back of the agenda calculations regarding the solar panels that we have for the rec center and the ice center. And in the year and a half, almost 2 years that they've been up, they've generated 85,000 kilowatt hours. I was off an order of magnitude, Todd. And thereby at a rate of 7 cents per kilowatt hour. So far, they've saved about $6,000. So the payback period, even if we paid the whole amount, would be pretty good. So I just want to point that out. And so in regard to the solar projects, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doherty. Any other members wishing to speak on the amendment? Okay, seeing none, City Clerk, you can call the roll. This is on the amendment, councilors.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. The amendment has been adopted. Council, we will now look at that item as the main motion. That resolution, please look at 22A as you discuss this further. Council, any questions or comments? I'm just going to go straight into that on this item. Okay, we will go then to the public on the main motion. Any members of the public wish to speak to the main motion, which would be the adoption of the goals? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Council, any parting comments on the adoption of the goals? Vice Mayor Cumby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to comment on goal number 4, milestone F. that the wording states evaluate community needs and potential uses, and it is not at this point in time about adoption or implementation of such, but rather just an analysis and evaluation.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Council, any other comments on the goals? Okay, seeing none, City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Pierce.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has been approved. We will move on to item 12, Councilor Somerville.
I move that City Council approve a contract between the City of Laramie, Wyoming and Bolton Partners Incorporated for compensation study and staffing analysis, professional consulting services in the amount of $110,750 plus a contingency of $15,000 for a total amount not to exceed $125,750 and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by Somerville, second by Pierce. Director Russell, welcome. Will you flip on your microphone, please? Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for listening to me tonight. Employee compensation and staffing levels have always been really important to the City of Laramie. They have not been analyzed since 2015, so to remain competitive, not just internally, but also externally, we are trying to attract great talent and retain our employees. We need to make sure that we're engaging them and paying them the fair wage, fair, equitable wage. We went out to bid. We had 2 bidders. The successful one is going to come in this tight market, driving our wage changes, I'm sorry. In the fall of '22, the city issued the planned request for proposal. We got their proposals back. They're going to review all current job classifications, confirm, recommend changes to the hierarchical order for the job using the evaluation system. They will establish appropriate benchmarking standards and conduct salary surveys as needed for the similar positions with comparable state municipalities as required. They will also identify potential pay compression issues and provide potential solutions to those situations. They'll analyze and recommend changes in the present compensation structure to attain competitive market position for hiring and for retention as well. This recommendation may include recommendations for individual positions as well as groups. They'll conduct an in-depth analysis of the city's current fire department staffing and operations and create detailed organizational staffing plans. All other department staffing and operations creating a detailed organizational staffing optimization plan as well. They'll compare and analyze the city's current operational staffing needs to industry standards and best practices of other cities and municipalities of similar use and size. The staffing analysis is intended to assist the city officials when making important decisions related to services and programs provided to the constituents in future years. The compensation analysis will guide future modifications to overall compensation and pay plan structure. This project was approved and budgeted for within the current fiscal year budget. The fire department salary study is part of this contract, is $8,000. The fire department Local 946 will pay about $4,000 of that cost. I ask for your approval.
Thank you, Director Russell. Council, any questions on this item? Councilor Gabriel?
Thank you, Mayor. Just curious, you said that a study like this has not been done since 2015.
Correct.
How often should a study like this be done?
I would say no greater than 5 years at the most. It should be done more often than that.
And back in 15, a similar type study was done?
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Somerville.
Thank you, Mayor. My question has to do with the comparable cities that'll be utilized, both in the number of staff and the compensation probably is more important. I know it said in the proposal that they'll submit a list of comparable cities for our staff to go through and agree upon. Do you see that including not just comparable cities of size, which is going to be hard to come by in Wyoming, there's only one, right? That's the same size as Laramie, but also our front range competition, frankly, in terms of staffing, and is that part of your plan to make sure that piece is addressed?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Council, any other questions? Director Russell, I'm curious what the turnaround time is for this, when we should expect results, and then would those be coming back as a work session for the council?
As far as a work session, we certainly can.
Mayor, through you, we will bring this back as part of your budgetary suggestions. So this is data laying the groundwork for budget development and recommendations coming from our office to you.
And city manager, would that mean just a couple months and we will have this back, or in next year's budget?
No. We'll use the findings from both the compensation and the staffing study, Mayor, to look at our next biennium.
Okay.
There will be recommendations for salary adjustments in the supplemental year that starts July 1st, just to sort of keep pace with change we know is happening. But this study will lay the groundwork for the final and total amounts of those changes.
Thank you. Council, any other questions? Okay, we will go to the public on this item. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this item? If you're on, go ahead and come forward if you're in the room, or raise your hand on Zoom. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public comment period. Council, any comments? City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item is approved. Councilor Richardson, item 13.
Let's see here. I move to approve original ordinance number 2055 on second reading, vacating approximately 4.31 acre pedestrian easement within Timberline Business Park, lots 1 through 7, as recommended by the Planning Commission, based on findings of fact and conclusions of law.
Second.
Motion by Richardson, second by Gabriel. Joseph, go ahead.
Mayor, Council, as Councilmember Richardson's already said, this is the second reading of an ordinance to vacate a pedestrian easement within Timberline Business Park. As we discussed last council session, this pedestrian easement was requested when the subdivision went through and the final plat went through. However, as time has gone on, the applicant has found that it's been more difficult to sell the sites with the pedestrian easement. In review of this, staff determined that it would not hamper growth within the area nor hamper movement of pedestrians within the area, primarily because pedestrian movement has been moved over to the west side of 287 and along Huron Street. Other than that, there's been no changes to this application, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, Mr. Shahidi. Council members, any questions? All right, we will go to the public. Is there any member of the public wishing to speak on this item? If you're in the room, go ahead and come forward. You have 3 minutes. If you're on Zoom, raise your hands. Okay, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and close the public comment period on this item. Council, any comments here? City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Richardson.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has been approved on second reading. Vice Mayor Cumby, item 14.
Yes. I move to postpone the Sundance Hills second filing final plat until May 16, 2023, based on the applicant's request.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Cumby, second by Councilor Newman.
Point of order, Mayor. I believe we have to actually introduce the motion and put it on the floor and then postpone it.
Thank you, Councilor. That is correct. So you can just amend that to just say, move to approve.
Oh, I see. I amend that to say, I move to approve the Sundance Hills second filing final plat until May 16, 2023, based on the applicant's request.
Mayor,
City Clerk.
if I could. So our first motion should be the main motion to approve the final plat. The second motion would be an amendment to a secondary motion to your main motion, that is to postpone the item to the May 16th. So it's a total of two motions, though.
Okay, and then I'll come in after that.
Yeah, and I apologize, I missed that on the cover sheet.
Okay. And I move to amend that to postpone the Sundance Hills.
Vice Mayor, you can just
No.
move to approve.
I
That's all you
move
have to say. Yep.
to, I already said that.
You move to approve, but you said, I amend to move.
Oh, I move to approve the Sundance Hills second filing final plat until May 16.
Just stop.
No,
Just end it.
final plat. Gotcha.
I'll second.
Second.
All right, motion by Vice Mayor Cumbie, second by Counselor Newman. And then I will go back to you, Vice Mayor, if you would like to go ahead and move to postpone.
Now I move to postpone the Sundance Hills second filing final plat until May 16, 2023, based on the applicant's request.
Second.
That took a while.
Motion by Vice Mayor Cumbie, second by Counselor Somerville. Mr. Gavatuller.
Honorable Mayor, members of council, the final plat before you this evening is for 9 lots on about a size of 1.75 acres parcel north of Riverside Drive on Colorado. This final plat is part of a preliminary plat that you all saw in 2020. It's for 127 units total. This one, of course, only for 9 units. This postponement is due to a delay in getting the financial securities in place. We have the applicant, Mr. Coffey from Coffey Engineering, here as well this evening to answer any questions, and I'm open to questions as well.
Council members, any questions? Counselor Doherty.
So what I understand is, Mr. Coffey, we're just not ready. You're not ready for this just yet. So we're not hurting the development.
Mr. Coffey, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Honorable Mayor, Council. We are not quite ready, and if you are paying attention to the financial challenges that we're having nationwide with the interest rates, I hope you can appreciate the challenges that we're now having trying to secure financing to move this project forward. I'm confident that we will get somewhere, but I would really appreciate the council's patience with us as we move this project forward.
Thank you. Council members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we will go to the public on this item. Any members of the public wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Council members, any comments before we go to the vote? City Clerk, you can call the roll. Thank you.
Cumbie.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Good luck, Mr. Coffey. All right. Councilor Pierce, item 15.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the Business Ready Business Community Grant and Loan Program Grant Agreement between the Wyoming Business Council Investments Division and the City of Laramie, Wyoming, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion by Pierce, second by Richardson. And let's see, City Manager Jordan.
Good evening, Council. This agreement represents the grant agreement between the city and the Wyoming Business Council to receive grants in the amount of $20 million to fund the expansion of Plenty LLC here in Laramie. You are familiar, Council, with this project, but just to kind of recap, we applied for these funds on behalf of Plenty with our partner, Laramie Chamber Business Alliance, in September. Last month, the project was finally approved by the State Lands and Investment Board for the total of $20 million, as I said. Along with that, we pledged a land match of land owned in Sierra Sky Technology Park by Laramie Chamber Business Alliance, amounting to about $2 million, as well as a $500,000 cash match from LCBA. That will construct a 60,000 square foot, first of its kind in the world, research and development facility at Sierra Sky Technology Park. Plenty has pledged to maintain the current jobs that they have in the community, and then they will expand their jobs by some 120 full-time positions with a very competitive wage and compensation package, or compensation and benefits package, excuse me. And the Business Council has estimated the impact or time to recoup these state grant funds at just under 5 years, at 4.79 years. If you have other questions, I'm happy to answer those. Assistant City Manager Todd Fieser will also be assisting with the construction element of this project, working with our partners at Plenty and LCBA to get this project underway, under design and under construction in the next 6 months or so.
Thank you, City Manager. Councilor Somerville.
Thank you, Mayor. City Manager, just a question. I didn't see it in the agreement, but given the workload, this is a rather large grant. Is there any revenue source to help with staffing or any needs that the city might have in terms of additional hours and personnel to manage such a large project?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor, Councilmember Somerville. Very good question. The city's in-kind pledge to this grant and the project of constructing this facility is significant. Assistant City Manager Fieser's time, my time, and potentially other members of staff working in our infrastructure and utility sections. I will say, as we manage this project, we will manage it, the construction element, as we have many of our previous business-committed projects in the community, and that involves a committee of folks from LCBA, from Plenty, from the city, and a representative from the Wyoming Business Council. Our agreement with these partners allows for us to consider the addition of hired or paid consulting staff to help manage the project. Insofar as I know right now, that decision has not been made, but it was contemplated that we might need to take that approach because of the scale of the project.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions, Council? Councilor O'Doherty.
I have a comment. Is that okay?
Sure it is.
I just appreciate all the hard work that's gone into this. Thank you.
Council, any other questions or comments? We're going to go ahead and roll it into one. Okay. We will go to members of the public. Any member of the public wish to speak on this item, go ahead and come forward or raise your hand on Zoom. Seeing none, we will close the public comment period. Last chance, councilors, for any sort of comment on this item. City Clerk, you can call the roll.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
That's 9 yeses and 0 noes, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. That item has been adopted. We will open the floor one more time for public comment. If any member of the public wishes to speak to the City Council, go ahead and come forward or raise your hand on Zoom. Seeing none, we will close that public comment period. Council, any consideration for future work session topics? Councilor Pierce, item 18.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Council,